All right, Exo-Bridge installation. In this video, we are going to be installing the Exo-Bridge to the Steadicam Exo-Vest. I recommend that you fly your rig before installing the Exo-Bridge. This way you have a good comparison of what your Exo-Vest normally feels, and then with the Exo-Bridge installed onto it. My Exo-Vest is not modified in any way before this install. I'm literally going straight from how I normally wear it to installing the Exo-Bridge with no variations. The 3/16 Allen tool is not included in this kit, so you'll want to grab one from your tool bag. First, take photos of your vest settings for the hips, front and back rods, and shoulder straps in case you ever need to reverse back to your original Exo-Vest. Remove the rear hip pads and take out the inner filler layer. Now, when installing the new version of the Exo-Bridge with the spotter handle, this is what you're going to do. So you're going to take a 7/64 and loosen the screws on the back of the latch assembly. And then I'm going to open the latch in the front and then slide up and off the rods. Then you're going to take your spotter handle and slide them down the rods like that. And then place this back. And you always start with the front rods first, and then do the back rods here. And then you kind of shimmy it to get it to settle down. Now I'll lock the front rod so it doesn't keep moving around while I work. Press the latch assembly down and tighten these screws. Okay, make sure that's nice and secure. Just slide the spotter handle all the way to the top, right up against the latch assembly. And then I'm gonna use the same Allen and tighten these screws down. And that should be nice and secure so it won't move. Then you're going to take your bridge clip, which will have this insert in here. So if you did not get the spotter handle, you'll keep this little insert in here. If you have the spotter handle, you just slide this out. Then you're going to install the bridge clip. You're going to pull the straps back of the spotter handle to give space as you snap this in. You're going to press on one side and press on the other. You're just pressing back and forth until it's in place. If you're installing the Walter Clausen Exo-Vest adapter, you're going to place it right here and just lightly get the screws in place using a 3/16 Allen. And then I'm going to raise this up and then just tighten down one of the screws so it holds in place. Once there, I'm going to take the base clip, snap that in place. From here, we're going to be installing the cover pieces. So for the back mount, we have this base cover and the top cover for the back mount. So I'm going to install the base here. Then I'm going to raise the clip up to align the holes, place the Allen in. And then from here, I'm going to raise the entire assembly up, right up against the bridge clip to the top, and then tighten down this Allen. And you can take the top cover for the back mount and install it right underneath the spotter handle. From here, we can loosen down that screw for the back mount. Once that's loose, you're going to need to kind of pull back and forth on this adapter to get it to unbind from the rod metal. And then you should be able to slide this up and down to find the right spot where you'd like to have your back mount, and then tighten down these screws to the adapter. If you're installing the Exo-Bridge to be front mounted, you're going to take the base clip and install it there. And then you're going to take your full cover and then you're going to place it through the bottom here, slide it down, take your Allen through the hole, and you're going to raise this up and then secure it down. And then same thing with the top right there. I'm going to slide that in and lightly tighten the Allen screw down. If you ever need to remove the clips, in particularly the bridge clip, you need to remove the base first because it does get in the way. So I'm going to press here on one side and then the other, and then that's going to come right off the rods. And for the bridge clip, I'm going to place a thumb right above the latch assembly and then right below the spotter handle, and then just gently push till it gets off of the rods there, and then go to the other side and do the same thing and press to get it off. So it doesn't take a lot of pressure to do that, and never twist to remove the clips. Reattach the rear hip pads directly next to the base clip. Increase the hip straps to about 2 finger widths. This is an estimate as you'll make your final adjustments when refitting your vest. Here's an example of the 3 different types of 16mm clips you'll be installing. Pull the upper back pad of the Exo-Vest down to detach it from the Velcro. Here's an example of an operator that uses their vest with 19 gradation marks on the back and 1 booster pad. These are the clips that are included in their kit. 3 16mm clips, 3 small clips, and the top clip. I'll start by installing the 16mm standard size clips, stacking them one above the other. Then I'll install the small clips. As you can see, I have 2 spare small clips and I've run out of room to install the top clip. I could replace the small clip with the top clip, but that's not ideal, as doing so would leave excess space on the rods, allowing the clips to travel more than necessary. Instead, I'll replace one standard size clip with a small clip. This reduces the amount of travel on the rods and creates a more flush, streamlined look for the Exo-Bridge on your Exo-Vest. These spare clips are included to give you flexibility for different variation options you may want to explore with your Exo-Bridge. Here are the examples of the 16mm covers. Each cover matches its corresponding clip name. Add the cover pieces from bottom to top. Adjust the rods if you need clearance to install the top cover. Once it's in place, lower the rods back to its original position. Lightly tighten the screws with a 3/16 Allen key. If you notice any play in the top clip, continue tightening the screw gradually until the assembly holds firmly with light pressure. Attach Velcro strips on the plate to the front inside of the vest. Press fit the center pad. Before installing the lumbar pad, inflate the air bladder to check for leaks. Press on the air bladder to make sure it holds its pressure. Then, press the deflation button and apply pressure to the air bladder to release the air. Place the base of the lumbar pad on the same surface as your vest. Make sure to center the pad to the clips and then press it firmly onto the Velcro. Ensure that the front hip pad next to the socket block has the zipper facing upward to mount the hip pad clamp. Open the zipper past the curved portion of the hip pad to create enough access. Insert the clamp with the flat side inside the pad and the jaw positioned on the outside underneath the elastic flap. Fold the clamp closed until it latches. It should not require much force. If it doesn't clamp properly, pull it out slightly and try again. To attach the ARVC, snap the deflation button assembly by inserting the shorter side first, followed by the deflation button side. Secure the hard side Velcro to the latch of the hip pad clamp. Then pull the zipper closed underneath the hip pad clamp. The ARVC is fitted with hook side Velcro if the placement of the hip pad does not work for you. Feel free to find a new location to place the ARVC. Before installing the single pads, reattach the upper back pad of the Exo-Vest. Locate the fabric fold where the Velcro sits. Position the fold side down just above the lumbar pad. Install each single pad one above the other until you reach the top of the upper back pad. Depending on your gradation marks and booster pad setup, you may have a spare single pad, which may be useful if you explore different variation options. Here's an example of a vest fitted for a person who goes from a no booster option to using the dual booster variation. The no booster option uses 4 single pads and 1 small clip. The dual booster option uses 3 single pads and 2 small clips. Now that your Exo-Bridge is installed on your Steadicam Exo-Vest, please watch the next video on how to properly tune the Exo-Bridge. This step is important to ensure you get the best possible performance. Thanks for watching.